give me, if you can, a thumbnail sketch. The theme of today's talk was, what if parents reformed education? How do you work on getting a parent involved in this very important issue?
The way to get parents involved in truly transforming education, and it really is even beyond reforming education, right? The what if a parent reformed education is really about how would they think differently. If you really invited parents into the equation and asked them, what's the best way to deliver the education that you dreamed of for your child? What would you do? That's how do you get them in. Most people think that you're going to get a parent involved simply by having them come to a meeting or having them show up at the schoolhouse door or coming to a parent-teacher conference. That's not engagement, right? That's a basic obligation. That's a basic responsibility. True parental engagement comes when you actually say, what if? Help us to design what the school system looks like for you, what the school looks like for you, what kinds of programs you're looking for. You start capturing a parent's imagination and engage educators alongside of those parents, then you're going to get a truly engaged, transformative parent base.
You talked about, from your perspective, you have a view of other states that are doing this and doing this well. What are some examples of places that have taken that concept and run with it a little bit?
So some of the states we look at and where we've learned most from about parents truly transforming that education equation for their child are Indiana, for example, which has given not only more opportunities, more learning opportunities to students in the public system, in the charter public world, in private schools, frankly, through virtual and online learning, but they've also given them data and lots of easy to understand pieces of data so they can actually make informed choices. And what's happened is those initial attempts to engage parents, oh, by the way, and they brought in money, following kids, more equitable funding, engaging parents who never before had a choice and weren't engaged, made them want more, made them push more, and have made them part of a much more informed populace in the state of Indiana. So when people actually talk about, and there are people who challenge that new paradigm in Indiana, the same in Florida, the same has happened in places like Ohio, Louisiana, when there are challenges, the challenges have withstood, have been challenged back. In other words, those reforms have withstood even large political challenges because now you have an informed populace that's led by parents who are protecting their choice. We used to say that if you actually begin at the very early point of time when you have a child, right? Let's say you have your first child and that child's a baby and you give that parent a choice and you say someday you're going to be able to choose a school that your child is going to attend, you will have that parent for life engaged in a system because now they're thinking like a consumer. And every decision they make from where they live to where they work is going to be centered around where their child's going to go to school.
You've now had a chance to be on the ground here in Idaho for a little bit to look at how we've approached this over the last year. What would you say is the thing we need to do to get started down that same path?
So Idaho's done an amazing job really accelerating reform over the last several years toward a place that can be more meaningful for all parents. The seeds are in place, but to really get to the next level, there has to be more involvement at the ground of parents and educators, rank and file, not association heads, sitting at the table and helping them understand first and foremost the importance of changing policy. And the policy that needs to be changed is how we fund schools, how and when parents are able to make choices, what are the rules and regulations we have to get rid of, frankly, to allow that innovation to occur. How do superintendents get more autonomy so they can actually compete in this new kind of marketplace? How do we create enough innovation so not only do traditional cities and towns benefit, but rural districts benefit as well? So we start with questions, we engage people locally, we write policies, and then you go to town and advocate for them.
Perfect. Just to make sure I get this to lead off our interview, if you can, tell me your name and
Sure.
your title,
Sure.
and we'll just spell your name as well.
Sure. I'm Jeanne Allen. I am Senior Fellow and President Emeritus, as well as founder of the Center for Education Reform based in Washington, D.C. And Jeanne is Jeanne, Allen, Allen.
Perfect. That's all we need.
And I have approved this message.